Elara Wychwood pored over the cryptic message on her workbench, the flickering gas lamps above casting an eerie glow on her face. Her slender fingers drummed against the polished brass as she pondered the telegram's enigmatic wording. Invisible threads entangle our fates. Forgotten kin call from beyond. Blood whispers echo in steam. As she examined the telegram for any hidden symbols, her gaze drifted to the rows of telegraph machines lining the workbench. Steam-powered contraptions hissing and clicking away, transmitting secrets across the city's etheric web. The air was heavy with coal smoke and stale tea. Yet Elara felt an unsettling chill creeping up her spine. "Impossible," she muttered, shaking her head. "A prank, that's all." Yet, the telegram's haunting phrases lingered in her mind like a cold draft on a winter night. The door creaked as Elara's loyal companion, her brother's former valet, Edward, entered with a steaming teapot and a tray of uneaten sandwiches. His worn face, creased by age and responsibility, reflected concern. "Miss Elara, I found these in the mailbox," he said, his low voice barely above a whisper. "The Wychwood Estate's telegram office was raided last night." The operator reported, eerie whispers echoing from the wires, as if the machines themselves were screaming. Elara's hands flew to her hair, her mind racing with the implications. Edward handed her the telegram and a note card with an address in an abandoned district of the city. "Miss Wychwood, I implore you, don't go poking around these forsaken streets. Your brother would have my head if anything happened to you." Elara's eyes flashed with determination. "You know me, Edward. The thrill of discovery is intoxicating. Besides, this address might be connected to the strange occurrences at the estate." She gathered her notes and a worn leather-bound book on ancient steam tech. "I'll take precautions," she assured him, though her thoughts were already drifting into the mist-shrouded heart of the city. Edward's worried glance followed her as she departed, his eyes lingering on the forgotten sandwiches. Elara stepped out into the gray mist, which clung to her silk-draped gown like a damp shroud. The city's cacophony, hissing pipes, chugging engines, and distant screams seemed to seep through the fog, unnerving her further. She consulted the address on the note card, an abandoned textile mill on the outskirts of town. As she entered the crumbling factory, a chill settled in the pit of her stomach. The air reeked of rotting fabric, oil, and decay. Elara's boots scuffed against broken machinery and dust-covered looms, the only sound amidst the oppressive silence. She had to know what lay behind the mysterious telegram. Edward's words echoed in her mind. The Wychwood Estate's telegram office was raided last night. A shiver coursed down her spine as a faint whisper seemed to carry on the wind. "Elara, Elara." "Your mother whispers secrets." Elara spun around, her heart racing. No one else was there. With a deep breath, she focused on the task at hand, uncovering the truth behind these cryptic messages. Her gaze swept the dimly lit space, halting on an old, rusted telegraph machine. Its brass surface seemed to absorb the faint light, like a cold, dead eye. This must be the original equipment. Elara mused aloud, her voice echoing off the walls. The silence that followed only added to the unease growing within her. Suddenly, the air was filled with an unsettling hissing, as if steam itself were being released in a frenzy of pressure and release. Every valve, every pipe seemed to hiss, danger echoing through Elara's mind. In the darkness, she felt watched. the weight of her family's cursed legacy settling around her like a shroud. A faint, scratching noise drew her attention back to the telegraph machine. The hissing had stopped. In its place was an ear-piercing screech, as if tiny gears were disengaging. Elara approached cautiously, a sense of foreboding guiding her steps. Within the dusty machine, she discovered a roll of cryptic notes, each page bearing the same enigmatic message. Threads unseen weave fate. Secrets hidden within whispers. Elara's eyes flicked to the fog-shrouded windows, as if expecting an answer. The telegraph machine's hissing ceased, replaced by an unbroken silence. Then, a single, mechanical voice whispered from the machine. "Fog hides the truth, but I am the echo." Echoes in steam. The air seemed to thicken, heavy with malevolent intent. Elara felt her world crumbling around her, as if every whisper was a warning from beyond the grave. "Edward," she hissed, turning to leave. "You must be warned. Something is wrong at the estate." The fog swirled outside like a living entity, tendrils creeping into the factory's decaying heart. Elara hastened back through the darkness, her senses on high alert for the whispers that lingered in her mind. Elara stormed through the mist-shrouded streets, her breath fogging in the cold night air. Edward's worried expression greeted her at the estate's entrance. "Oh, dear heavens!" He grasped her elbow, his grip firm as he led her away from the factory district's eerie silence. "What's amiss? The telegraph machine, you say?" Elara's heart still raced, but she forced a rational tone. "Someone's playing a prank, Edward. I'll investigate further." She paused, her eyes locked on his concerned face. "Do you recall any strange occurrences or unexplained events at the estate since?" Edward's grip on her elbow tightened. "I thought it was just my imagination, Miss Elara. But now that you mention it..." He hesitated, a glance darting back to the factory in the distance. The fog seemed to writhe like living darkness. "I've seen strange lights flickering within the estate's walls at night," he whispered, his words heavy with foreboding. Whispers, as if our ancestors' restless spirits are awakening. Elara's grip on her coat tightened. Her family's dark history haunted her. Blood-cursed dynasties, steam-powered abominations, and secrets buried in forgotten laboratories. Edward's expression turned solemn. "I know this sounds ridiculous, Miss Elara, but the factory's hissing whispers haunt me. Please be cautious." The sound of distant foghorns pierced the mist, followed by the mournful wail of a lone bagpipe drifting from an unseen location. The air seemed to thicken with menace. "Edward," she interrupted, her voice low and urgent. "I'll take care. I must uncover the truth behind these whispers. You know the Wychwood's legacy." Fog-encased buildings loomed before them like sentinels of doom. Edward's hand remained clutched around hers, as if the darkness itself threatened to snatch her away. "In that case," he whispered, "be prepared for whatever horrors lurk within those walls." Elara's nod was a desperate attempt to reassure herself. The fog seemed to seep into the estate grounds, tendrils of mist curling around the decrepit statues and crumbling architecture. Shadows shifted like living darkness, as if even the wind itself carried an eerie whisper. "Remember, Miss Elara," Edward warned once more before releasing her arm, "the Wychwood's dark past will not be silenced." As she watched him vanish into the estate's shadows, Elara felt a creeping sense of dread. The whispers, the hissing steam, and now this unsettling atmosphere coalesced to form an unshakable feeling. Something ancient and malevolent had taken notice of her presence. Fog tendrils curled around her boots, as if beckoning her into the darkness. And yet, Elara's curiosity, her curse, compelled her forward. Elara hesitated at the boundary between light and shadow, her grip on the note card tightening. The whispered warnings from Edward echoed in her mind. The Wychwood's dark past will not be silenced. She sensed the weight of her family's legacy settling around her like a shroud. Within the darkness, Elara felt the fog coalesce into an unseen presence, watching her. Unsettled, she steeled herself and took a step forward. The mist enveloped her legs like a cold, damp blanket. As she ventured deeper, the once familiar estate grounds seemed to writhe around her, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. Shadows appeared to twist into grotesque shapes, mocking her with whispers that might have been warnings or pleas. Suddenly, Elara's gloved hand grasped a rusty door handle, worn by time and neglect. The whispering ceased, replaced by an oppressive silence. As she pushed the creaky door open, a faint, crimson glow spilled out. The air inside was heavy with the stench of rusted machinery and decay. A figure stood before the flickering lanterns, shrouded in shadows. A woman, her face obscured by a veil that seemed to be made of fog itself. The atmosphere grew heavier still, as if Elara's presence had triggered some unseen mechanism. "What business do you have here?" Elara asked, voice laced with caution. The veiled figure slowly lifted its gaze, revealing sunken eyes, black as coal, overcome by an otherworldly energy. "Elara Wychwood," the woman whispered in a voice like rusty gates creaking in the wind. "Your family's secrets have awakened and summoned." "Summoned what?" Elara pressed, her hand tightening around the door handle. The veiled figure vanished as suddenly as she appeared, leaving behind an eerie silence, punctuated by the soft hiss of steam escaping through a nearby grate. Elara blinked away the confusion. This apparition was no phantom. The air still reeked of coal smoke and neglect. Someone had intentionally summoned this entity to convey a message. But from whom? And what did it mean? As she stepped back into the fog, Elara realized the door creaking shut behind her wasn't just the wind's doing. The whispers returned, now bearing an unmistakable note of malice. The Wychwood estate loomed before her like a mausoleum. Shadows twisted and writhed in response to her footsteps, as if she disturbed a dark, mechanical heartbeat. In the dim light of her room, Elara's gaze fell upon the cryptic telegram and the veiled figure's enigmatic words. The echoes of steam hiss still lingered in her mind, echoing with an otherworldly malevolence. Unsettled by the encounter, she hastily lit a lantern and sat at her desk, trying to decipher the code. "Fog hides the truth. Your mother's whispers echo." The words on the page seemed to shift, like a puzzle rearranging itself. Elara shivered, sensing an unseen presence lurking in the shadows. In her mind's eye, she saw the faces of forgotten kin, their whispers growing louder with each passing moment. A sudden gust whipped through the room, extinguishing the lantern, plunging her into darkness. In the blackness, Elara began to transcribe the mysterious notes and warnings on a new sheet. The scratching sound of her pen danced across the paper like a madman's scriptorium. As darkness enveloped her, Elara's thoughts turned to the enigmatic veiled figure and the unsettling whispers. The air seemed to thicken with an unspoken menace. Suddenly, a cold draft caressed her cheek, though there was no apparent source. Elara froze, her heart pounding against her chest. Shadows within the room began to twist into grotesque forms. "No. Impossible," she whispered, but the darkness only replied with silence. A faint glow crept in from under the door. A candle lantern, Edward's worried face illuminated by the flickering light. "Elara, What did you discover?" Elara interrupted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I sensed something." Edward's expression grew even more troubled. "I found an old journal hidden in the archives. It spoke of forgotten Wychwood experiments and the fog of secrets, which hid truths from the living." As he spoke, steam hisses echoed outside, as if the mist itself responded to their conversation, and whispers carried on the wind. Edward's words trailed off, lost in the fog-shrouded darkness beyond the lantern's weak light. Elara's grip on her pen tightened, a cold, metallic sensation spreading up her arm. Within the shadows, the darkness seemed to coalesce into unseen eyes, watching with an unblinking gaze. The hisses grew louder, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. "A warning," Edward whispered. "Or a summons." Elara's pen scratched across the paper, driven by an inexplicable compulsion. Her hand moved in rhythmic patterns, weaving an unseen tapestry within the darkness. The candle lantern before her flickered wildly, as if reacting to some unseen force. The shadows seemed to deepen, taking on sentential forms of forgotten kin, whispers echoing through Elara's mind. "Edward," she began, but her voice caught in the sudden void left by his disappearance. A cold breeze caressed her cheek once more, and Elara realized she was no longer alone. With a jolt, she turned to find Edward's empty coat, dropped as he vanished into the fog. The darkness seemed to be absorbing every sound. Footsteps, breathing, Elara's own heart. The silence stretched, an oppressive weight crushing her lungs. In this moment of terror, Elara became aware of her own heartbeat, once more synchronizing with the distant hisses, now accompanied by a disquieting melody, mournful bagpipes drifting through the fog like a mournful dirge. "Edward," she called out, but only the wind responded, carrying the wails of unseen, piping shadows. The darkness seemed to coalesce into an unseen presence, as if waiting for her response. As she ventured deeper, Elara's boots scuffled against the dusty floor of the long-abandoned textile mill. The air reeked of decay and forgotten labor. A lone, flickering lantern cast eerie shadows across the walls. The darkness seemed to writhe around her like a living entity, as if the very fabric of reality had torn asunder. Elara's mind reeled. Edward vanished, and now this forsaken place seemed to be drawing her in with an otherworldly pull. Shadows twisted into grotesque forms, as if whispers echoed through the abandoned machinery. Fog-bound darkness crept along the walls, wrapping around ancient looms and rusting gears like a macabre dance. Elara shivered, her gloved fingers tracing the cold metal of the mill's central catwalk. Suddenly, her gaze locked onto an old cobweb-enshrouded ledger. The pages seemed to rattle, as if unseen hands stirred the dust. The whispers grew louder, each phrase blending with Edward's warnings. The fog of secrets, a warning or a summons. Elara's heart raced like a steam engine in overdrive. Edward, where was he? The fog outside seemed to seep into her thoughts, insidious tendrils wrapping around her sanity. As she opened the ledger, a musty smell wafted out, carrying whispers of Wychwood experiments gone awry. Each entry spoke of blood curses and eldritch energies bound with an ancient steam tech. Edward? Elara whispered, but only the creaking machinery replied, its rusty heart beating in darkness. In this forgotten workshop, amidst the ruins of an industrial past, a new truth emerged. Her family's legacy was not just a myth. It was a tangible web of darkness woven by twisted science and forbidden knowledge. Elara's grip on the ledger tightened as she read about Wychwood experiments gone wrong. Her mind reeled with every new revelation. The fog of secrets conceals truths. Blood whispers, hidden within. Steam hisses echoed through the abandoned factory, growing louder as if ancient machinery awakened by her presence. As the shadows coalesced into twisted forms, Elara realized her connection to the forgotten kin. Whispers, echoing through the darkness. Fog tendrils curled around the mill's walls like grasping fingers. Edward, where was he? The hisses grew a crescendo of dread, as if reality itself began to unravel. Fate weaves unseen threads. Elara stumbled upon an entry detailing her family's dark rituals, sacrifices and blood pacts with eldritch entities. Her grip on the ledger faltered, fingers trembling like a madman's scriptorium. The darkness seemed to deepen, as if unseen eyes watched her from the shadows. Elara's gaze, once fixed on the ledger, now drifted toward the darkness. The air vibrated with anticipation, as if an unseen force awaited her reaction. She forced herself to focus on the words before her. Wychwood family secrets and blood-cursed technology. Each page turned, revealed a trail of deceit, as if Edward's warnings had become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The whispers grew louder still, now a cacophony of dread, threatening to consume her sanity. And yet, the darkness seemed to writhe around her like a living entity, echoing the shadows' macabre dance. Steam hisses pierced the air, synchronizing with Elara's racing heart. A madman's rhythm, whispers condensed into an unseen form, taking on the semblance of a forgotten kin. Its whispers coalescing into a warning. Elara Wychwood's fate. Forgotten threads entwine. Edward! She must find him. Fog tendrils curled around the mill's walls, like grasping fingers. Edward! Her heart thundered against her ribs as she stumbled toward the entrance and the darkness beyond. With every step, the hisses grew louder, now a deafening cacophony. As she burst into the fog-choked night, steam hisses intensified, an unseen force urging her onward. Edward! Elara's voice was lost in the wind, which now carried an unsettling melody, mournful bagpipes drifting through the darkness like a dirge. Unseen eyes watched from the shadows. The fog of secrets seemed to seep into her mind, weaving an unseen tapestry of dread. And then, everything went silent. The fog coalesced around Elara, as if reality's fabric was unraveling. Elara stumbled forward, her boots scraping against the fog-bound cobbles. Every step felt like an eternity. The darkness seemed to deepen, as if she approached some abyssal precipice. Fog hides the truth. Secrets whispered in steam. As she crested a hill, a lone structure rose before her. The Wychwood Estate's forgotten clock tower. Unseen threads entwined with every step, drawing her toward this foreboding monolith. The creaking of rusty hinges, a door screeched open, revealing an abyssal darkness. Elara hesitated, her hand pressed against the cold stone. A faint glow emanated from within, bathing her in an unearthly light. The air inside pulsed with an otherworldly energy. As she descended into this haunted sanctum, Elara's footsteps awakened a chorus of whispers, forgotten kin calling to their cursed bloodline. Within this darkness, she discovered the heart of Wychwood's dark legacy. An ancient engine, once fueling the family's innovations, now loomed before her like a monstrous rusted heartbeat. "Edward," Elara whispered, as if his voice could calm the whispers echoing through the darkness. The engine's hissing grew louder, synchronizing with the bagpipe's mournful dirge. Unseen eyes watched from the shadows, echoes of her family's cursed bloodline whispering secrets in steam. Elara approached the ancient steam engine, her heart suspended in mid-air. The whispers reached a fever pitch as she read from an inscription on its side. Invisible threads entwine. Suddenly, the fog outside receded, revealing a lone figure amidst the ruins. Edward, his eyes black as coal, now bore an unsettling aura. His gaze locked onto Elara's, as if drawn by an unseen force. "Elara," he whispered, voice like rusted gears creaking in the darkness. The whispers ceased, replaced by an oppressive silence. "What secrets lie hidden?" she asked, voice trembling. Edward's response came in a ghastly whisper. The fog of secrets, Wychwood curses echo. As Elara grasped his arm, her family's dark legacy unfolded like a nightmare. Blood-cursed technology, forgotten experiments, and the eternal screams of the damned. Edward's coal-black eyes locked onto hers, echoing an unseen presence. Her grip on his arm tightened as she read the inscription once more. Invisible threads entwine. As reality itself began to unravel, unseen darkness crept forward, shrouding Edward in a cold, ethereal mist. His gaze never wavered from her own. And then the darkness consumed him, Edward's whispering voice. Now a haunting chorus of forgotten kin. Whispers echo. Secrets whispered in steam. As she realized, fate had woven threads unseen. The darkness closed in, as if reality itself was unraveling. Elara stumbled backward, lost in an abyss of madness, trapped within the Wychwood Estate's labyrinthine passages. In this desolate night, Elara vanished into the fog of secrets, and her sanity with it.